Let me ask you something before we get into this. And I want you to really think about it, not just nod your head and keep scrolling. When was the last time you actually felt safe? Not comfortable, not numb, safe. Like if something went wrong tomorrow, your job, your health, your car, your roof, you would not fall apart. You would bend, maybe, but not break. Most of you watching this right now, you don't feel that way. And the reason you don't feel that way has almost nothing to do with how much money you make. I've known people who made $30,000 a year and slept like babies. And I've known people pulling in $200,000 who woke up at 3 in the morning with their hearts pounding, wondering how they got into so much trouble. The difference between those two people? A handful of decisions. That's it. Decisions that seem small when you make them and enormous when you look back. I've been watching people make these decisions for a very long time. I sat on my knees in front of 1,000 pairs of shoes, working on people's feet while they told me their troubles. And trust me, when someone's sitting in your chair and you're bent over their ankle, they stop performing. They tell you the truth. I heard about divorces that started over money. I heard about fathers who died estranged from their children over inheritance arguments. I heard about men who built beautiful things and then handed them over to banks because they didn't understand one single page of a contract. So listen to me, not because I have a degree, not because I took a finance course, because I have made many of these mistakes myself, and I have watched people I loved make the rest of them, and I am going to tell you what I know. The first thing you should never do with your money is treat it like it's yours to spend. Now wait, before you argue with me, hear what I'm saying. The money in your account right now is not all yours. Some of it belongs to the version of you who is going to get sick someday. Some of it belongs to the version of you who is going to be old and unable to work. Some of it belongs to emergencies that haven't happened yet, but will. When you look at your balance and think, I have $800, I can afford that jacket, you are robbing your future self. When I opened my shop in Bay Ridge in 1952, I had almost nothing. I scrapped and saved and cut corners in ways that embarrassed me. I ate bread and olive oil for dinner more nights than I care to count. And there were people around me spending freely. New shoes every season, nights out, vacations. I won't lie to you, I was jealous sometimes. I thought, why can't I have that? But I had a rule that my father drilled into me when I was a boy, in broken English that was better than most people's perfect English. Before you spend, you ask, is this a need or a want? And if it's a want, wait 30 days. If you still want it, maybe. If you forgot about it, there's your answer. 30 days. That's all. Most wants disappear in 30 days. Try it. Right now, whatever you've been thinking about buying, write it down, put it away, revisit it in 30 days. You'll be shocked how often you don't care anymore. The second thing you should never do is keep your money where you can see it too easily. This sounds strange. Let me explain. My daughter Lucia, God love her, she is sharp as a tack. She kept all her savings in one account, checking, savings, everything together, because it was easier. And every time she had a bad week, or a good thing came up, or a sale happened, she dipped in. She wasn't irresponsible. She was human. When the money is right there in front of your eyes, your brain tells you it's available, because it is available. That's the trap. Separate your money the way you separate your life. You wouldn't eat your Sunday dinner at your work desk. You wouldn't wear your wedding clothes to fix the car. Separate the money that is for emergencies. Separate the money that is for the future. Put it somewhere inconvenient. A different bank if you have to. Make it slightly annoying to access. That friction, that small annoyance, will save you more money than any budgeting app you've ever downloaded. Third, never lend money to family without deciding first that it's a gift. This one right here. I had a cousin, Carmelo, beautiful man, funny, generous. We were close for 30 years. In 1968, he needed help. His business was struggling, and he needed $2,000. $2,000 in 1968 was real money. I gave it to him. And I told myself it was a loan. He paid back $600. Then he fell on more hard times. Then we started having a different relationship, not the cousin relationship, the creditor and debtor relationship. Every time I saw him, I was aware of it. Every time he saw me, he was ashamed of it. By 1975, we weren't close anymore. By 1980, he was gone, heart attack. And I spent years wishing I had just called it a gift from the beginning. Because then I would have had my cousin instead of my $600. And I'm telling you, the $2,000 wasn't worth what I lost. If you give money to family, decide before you hand it over. This is gone. This is a gift. If they pay it back, wonderful. If they don't, you already said your goodbye to it. That decision, made ahead of time, saves the relationship, because the resentment doesn't come from losing the money. It comes from the expectation you carried that they didn't know about. Fourth, never make financial decisions when you're either miserable or euphoric. The worst money decisions I ever made in my life were made when I was on extreme ends of emotion. When I was terrified, I held on to things too long. When I was flying high, I let go too fast. There is a beautiful trap that happens when things are going well. You start to believe they will always go well. You spend as though the good times are permanent. They never are. And there is an equally dangerous trap when things are going badly. You make desperate moves that only make things worse, because fear makes you stupid. Fear is the worst financial advisor there is. My rule: if you are making a significant financial decision, anything over, let's say, $1,000, or anything involving debt or investment, you sleep on it. You sleep on it for at least one night, ideally a week. Not because you're slow, because the version of you that exists 24 hours later is calmer, smarter, and more honest with yourself about what you actually want versus what you think you want right now. Are you about to sign something today? About to make a big move? I'm asking you, what does your body feel like right now? If you feel urgency, like you have to do this right now or you'll miss it, that feeling is usually a trick. Real good decisions don't expire in an afternoon. Walk away. Sleep on it. Come back. Fifth, never ignore what money costs you to borrow. Interest. This one word has destroyed more families than I can count. I had a customer, this was maybe 1965. Good man, worked in the post office. He bought a television on credit. This was new then. Credit cards were new. Installment plans were new. He thought, small payment every month, easy. 3 years later, he had paid nearly double what the television cost. And by then, the television was almost obsolete anyway. Now multiply that by a car, a sofa, a vacation, a medical bill, a refrigerator, and then a credit card to pay the other credit card. This is how it happens. Not in one stupid decision, in 100 small convenient ones that no one warned you about. I'm not saying never borrow. I'm saying know what it costs. Before you take on any debt, I want you to calculate, actually calculate, on paper or in your phone, the total amount you will pay back. Not the monthly payment, the total. Seeing that number changes everything. When you see that the car costs not $25,000, but $34,000 by the time you're done, the decision looks completely different. Make yourself see the full number. Make it real. Then decide. Sixth, never mistake income for wealth. This is one that the young people especially need to hear. I see it everywhere now. People making good money, real money, and nothing to show for it. Nothing saved, nothing owned, nothing built. Income is the water coming in. Wealth is the reservoir. If your pipe runs full, but you've got holes everywhere, the reservoir stays empty. High income with high spending is not wealth. It's a treadmill. You stop running, you stop having. There was a man in my neighborhood in the 80s. Big job, fancy car, kids in private school, beautiful suits. Everyone thought he was rich. When he died unexpectedly at 56, his family found out he had almost nothing. The car was leased. The house had a second mortgage. The suits were on a credit account. The appearance of wealth had eaten the actual possibility of it. Ask yourself this, and be honest. If you stopped working tomorrow, how long could you live on what you have saved? A week? A month? A year? That number is your real financial situation, not what you earn, what you have. Start caring more about that number than about what people think when they see how you live. Seventh, never put all your trust in one thing to provide for you. Not one job, not one investment, not one person, not one income stream. I learned this in 1978 when my shop burned down. Everything, 30 years of work, gone in one night. And you know what I had? Some savings. Not a lot, but some. Enough to survive while people helped me rebuild. If I had put every penny back into the business and nothing aside, I would have had nothing. The fire would have been the end. Diversify. And I don't just mean stocks and bonds, though yes, that too. I mean, can you earn money in more than one way? Do you have more than one skill? More than one type of asset? I'm not asking you to become a millionaire. I'm asking you not to be completely destroyed by one bad event. Right now, whatever your situation is, ask, what is the single point of failure in my financial life? What one thing, if it went away, would ruin me? And then start slowly, methodically, building something next to it. A second skill, a small savings account, a side earning. Even small progress on this is the difference between catastrophe and difficulty. Eighth, never spend money to manage how other people see you. I mean this kindly, but I also mean it bluntly. A lot of you are broke because you are performing. The car that's too expensive. The apartment you can't afford, but it's in the right neighborhood. The clothes, the watches, the restaurants, the vacations you posted but couldn't afford. The gifts you gave to look generous when you were quietly drowning. I understand it. I grew up in an apartment with 15 people in it. And when I was young, I was ashamed of that. I wanted to look like I had arrived. I spent money sometimes trying to look like more than I was. And every single time, it made things worse, not better. Because the people you're trying to impress with money either already have money and aren't impressed, or they don't have money and they're doing the same thing you are. Nobody is watching as carefully as you think. And the ones who are, who only value you based on what you appear to have, those are not the ones you want. Here is the question I want you to sit with. Who in your life would stay if all the performance went away? If the nice car was gone, the nice clothes were gone, the nice vacations were gone, who stays? Those are your people. Spend your love on them, not your money on strangers. Ninth, and this is the one I feel most strongly about. Never wait until later to build financial security, because later becomes never. I hear it all the time. When I make more, I'll start saving. When I pay off this card, I'll start investing. When the kids are older, when the job settles down, when things calm down. I said it myself when I was young. I thought the right conditions were coming. The right conditions do not come. Life does not calm down and hand you a clear runway and say, "Now go." That is not how it works. You build the habit with the money you have now, even if it's embarrassing, even if it's $20 a month, even if you feel stupid putting $20 away when you have $4,000 in debt. You do it anyway because the habit is worth more than the amount. I have a grandson, sharp boy, really sharp. And a few years back he told me, no, I'll get serious about money when I'm 40. He was 34. I looked at him and I said, "What do you think 40 feels like? You think a trumpet plays and suddenly you are wise? 40 feels like 34. 50 feels like 40. The you that is going to get serious about money someday, that person is you right now. There is nobody else coming. There is nobody else coming. The you who will fix this is you today, with the information and the resources you have right now. Imperfect action today beats the perfect plan you never start. Now, I want to tell you something that I've never quite framed this way before because I think it matters. Money, fundamentally, is not about money. I know that sounds like something you'd embroider on a pillow, but stay with me. What money actually is, what it really is options. The more you have saved and protected and built, the more you can say yes to the things that matter and no to the things that don't. You can leave the job that's making you miserable. You can take care of your mother when she gets sick. You can give your children something you never had. You can take the trip while you still have the knees for it. My wife, Anna Maria, God rest her soul, she died when she was 28 before we had anything. No savings, no security, nothing. And after she was gone, I told myself, if I ever have a chance to love someone again, I will make sure we have the freedom to actually live the life we want. Not survive it, live it. When I met Gloria in 1990, this remarkable, funny, brilliant woman, I had spent 40 years building something real. Not glamorous, not flashy, just solid. And because of that, when she said, "Let's drive Route 66, we drove it. When she said, "My family in North Carolina needs us," we went. We held hands walking down streets where people stared at us, and we could afford not to care because we weren't afraid. Security gives you that, not arrogance, freedom. The freedom to be fully present in your life instead of always managing the fear of what might go wrong. I am in my 104th year of this life. I have outlasted almost everyone I started with. And I will tell you what I know to be true with whatever time I have left. The people who lived the best lives I ever witnessed were not the richest people I knew. They were the people who had enough. Enough that they weren't afraid, and they spent the rest of their energy on what actually mattered: their children, their craft, their community, their love. Enough is not a number. Enough is a feeling, and you build toward it one good decision at a time. Start today, not Monday, not when things settle down. Today, even if it's $20, even if it's just opening a separate account and calling it something that means something to you. Even if it's just putting down this screen, picking up a piece of paper, and writing down the one financial mistake you know you've been making, and deciding right now that you're going to stop. One decision, that's all. The rest follows from there. It always does.